Hello, everyone. Welcome to my room. Today, it's a special day, and the reason why is because it's laundry day. So, I'm going to do laundry while I talk about how my day went. Just for, I don't know, posterity, I suppose. Alright, let's get started. So, when I woke up this morning, which was around 10, I would say, I had a day off today. So, I did not feel very pressured to, do anything full of responsibility or, development, even though the days off really should be the days where I should be pursuing more, soul fulfilling work. But today was not one of those days, I guess, because as soon as I got up, I went out into the living room. I saw my sister. I greeted her, who was chilling on her phone in the den. And I immediately went into the kitchen, put on my headphones, and I started just watching YouTube on my phone, as well as I do a lot. And what did I watch today for YouTube? Let me think. Well, there was what did I watch? That's honestly a good question because it felt so long ago. It's like, what's sticking in my brain? Well, I remember I was just browsing through YouTube trying to find something that looked good to me. And then I was recommended this YouTuber named Neryl. If those who don't know what Neryl is, and I don't know, maybe you do, maybe you don't, he is a gaming-centric YouTube channel that mostly talks about PC optimizations on legacy software. So stuff like Nintendo 64 emulation, decompilations, the argument of what games like as a medium is, what it means to be as like an art form, things like that. So, I find his opinion really interesting because, well, not only is his editing very hilarious and creative and well done, he just clearly knows what he's talking about because he shows examples of, his discussion points in the video instead of leaving it up to you to guess. So, and by the way, I usually do that for clothes that is dirty that I'm going to wash later. So, I was watching him talk about this new game that came out, Resident Evil Requiem. He even made a little joke about DLSS 5 in the video where, like, he basically said, yeah, this game's cool and all with its path tracing, but how am I supposed to really get into it if the character isn't hot? Oh my gosh, DLSS 5, thank you. Yeah, so yeah, it was a pretty funny jab at the technology that I thought. But yeah, his review could be summed up as he enjoyed the fact that the game basically tries to fulfill both elements of what the Resident Evil fan base looks for in a Resi game. Because it kind of separated into two camps. There was the original slow-moving horror camp, where the chills would kind of present themselves over time, but they weren't like all up in your face, I suppose. It was just kind of like a creeping sensation. But then as time went on, the games just became more action-oriented. And because they became more action-oriented, many fans of the original believe that the dev teams lost the plot and kind of just was doing things solely for spectacle. However, the thing was, That turns out Capcom listened and they decided to go back to more traditional horror with Resi 7, but then people were complaining, "Hey, where's the action?" So they remade a whole lot of games from Resident Evil 2 to Resi 4, and then now we have reached the impetus of what is the best of both worlds for both fandoms, the action fans and the horror fans, with Resi Requiem. And so now people of all different Resi walks of life can come to this game and get something out of it. And that's pretty much what the Neryl was like discussing, what he was mentioning. I just thought, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's nice that Capcom. I feel like they're one of the few gaming publishers currently around right now that's still releasing like, you know, solid title after solid title. Excellent job, Capcom. Keep up the good work. After that, I was recommended, or no, I looked at my subscription feed and I found out that one of my favorite YouTube channels of all time, Red Letter Media, released a brand new video today. And this brand new video was Mike and Rich Evans talking about Star Trek Voyager. Now, I was never really a big Star Trek fan, I must admit. But for whatever reason, Star Trek is one of those franchises that I enjoy seeing nerds talk about or dissect more so than actually watching the show itself, because I can sense their passion, their commitment, and their like, you know, respect for the material. But then when I try to get into it, I have a hard time. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I like things that are more like, you know, dramatic, maybe, or more. There's just a little more to it in terms of the visual quality. I'm not exactly sure why I just don't click with Star Trek. Maybe if I really gave it the time of day, because I haven't really sat down and taken a whole show in. But maybe if I did, I probably would start seeing what the fans see rather than simply just seeing the fans talk about it. But yeah, this one of the more funnier comments by Mike Stillcloset in this episode. And hold on, I just want to check something really quick. Excellent. Okay. Just want to make sure that it was recording. I know, silly thing to do, like I'm pretty sure it is, but just to make sure. Anyways, so one of the things that I thought was funny that Mike Stillcloset said was the fact that, in his opinion, when he started watching Voyager, he didn't think it was as good as TNG because TNG had more variety. He believed TNG was just a more diversified show in terms of locations and problems, environments, things of that nature. And the thing was with Voyager with that he didn't like was that everything was kind of self-contained on this one ship. Apparently that was the whole premise of Voyager, where it was just one ship in space that had to be ran to accommodate different alien races and humans and stuff. And, you know, he at first didn't like this, but he said, if you think you're going to have the same opinions when you hit age in your 40s as you do in your mid-teens, then you are sorely mistaken. Because he, when he got older, he appreciated Voyager more, and they start to get into why. But he basically, one of the big reasons was that the new Star Trek shows that are coming out just feel like they're made for people who just have low attention spans and, you know, just want LOL, XD, look at how, you know, absurd we are kind of humor. And that kind of thing just comes off as clowny and annoying. Whereas Star Trek Voyager and a lot of the older Trek just had a sophistication to them that felt like the audiences intelligence was respected, and the it wasn't just done to say, "Look at me, look at how wacky I can be," but more so, "Wow, I'm actually putting effort into telling a story that has genuine thought and care put into it. What do you know?" And that ends up having a long-lasting legacy with the people who ended up watching it, rather than something that's clearly just made to be a distraction and not give any substance or thought or meaning at all. And what do you know? It ends up being seen as disposable trash because it's more annoying than it is valuable. So yeah, that's general gist of what I got from the beginning. But I stopped watching the video, and the reason why was because I started to get a bit antsy. I kind of wanted to do something else because I had been sitting there for I think like a good 2 hours. I told my sister, "Hey, want to go out with me so we can go get some snacks later?" And she said, "Sure. How about in like a few hours?" And I said, "Okay, I'm cool with that." So, um, when so I decided to go in my room, and eventually I was like, you know what? That whole Kling 3.0 new generator technology is starting to get a bit more sophisticated and better. Store is closing down, and I kind of want to try a new video project. And I know, whenever I start a new project of anything AI or human made, I always kind of just do a little bit and then I end up throwing my hands up in the air and abandoning it after a while. Sometimes I return to it, and then sometimes it just lays in ruins. More than often than not, just lays in ruins. I don't think I've ever finished a project, which is a big problem. I need to finish a project. That would be a huge milestone for me. But I decided to start a new project, and the project was take a storyboard animatic of this show that Red Letter Media did called Spitballs, and for my own private enjoyment and intrigue, use Kling's Omni feature and Google's Nano Banana 2 to take the shots, make them look like professionally finished 2D animated, frames, and then use the new Kling video model to have those frames animated. And now Kling has voice actions in it, so you can direct the voices however you like. And then I used Claude to help me write the prompts to get exactly what I was looking for. I gotta be honest, when I started though with Kling 3, I only used the traditional video generation mode. I didn't know what Omni was for many generations. I'd say at least like 5, 10, probably 10 generations. I was like, what is Omni? I don't want to touch that. But then eventually I was like, you know what? I'm not getting what I'm looking for. Okay, fine. Let's see what Omni is all about. So I decided to ask Mr. Gemini about Omni, what that brings to the table. And apparently Gemini stated that Omni is actually designed to be even more accurate and adherent to shot consistency, character interactions, and visual styles, and have more consistent quality throughout the generations and have more customization. For example, you can throw in things called elements. For example, say I have 2 back and forth shots of characters talking, but I only want to use 2 frames that shows the characters cut back and forth. Then I can describe the scene and use Claude to help break it, cut back to image 1, cut back to image 2, cut back to image 1, and then I can have Claude essentially say okay, well, I direct the action. I say, okay, this character, they are excited. They're telling this character, oh man, guess what I did? I got this call from a director, and he wants to hear a pitch from us about a new movie. And then they're like, oh, okay, let's do this. And the story is basically Mike is like a writer, and Jay works at a coffee shop, and Rich Evans is, described as like this homeless bum who who once starred in movies but then got typecast as like a fat jerk, and then he lost, like his career went down the tubes because they weren't like hiring people in his typecast anymore. So yeah, and basically they go to Hollywood so they can pitch this idea to Roland Emmerich of what they think would make for a good science fiction action movie. And as they're describing it, there's like visuals that showcase what they're talking about. And it's really funny. It's basically a story about like how there's an alien race that decides to cause the human birth rate to immediately pause, which means there are no more humans. So now humans have to, but the aliens, the way they work is like they're really slow. Like everything they do is like takes forever. Like, so for example, they say 70 years for humans is a whole month for the aliens. And so when when the aliens eventually decide to come invade in person, um, the the old people are like like appear fast to the aliens appear slow to the old people. And they have a whole bunch of hilarious gags about that I'm not going to spoil. I'd recommend you check out the Spitballs episode yourself if you're interested, but it is funny. And I thought, well, the storyboards are there. Gemini's Nano Banana 2 is getting even more advanced to the point where it could have better adherence to your prompts by making scraggly looking drawings look like completed and fully finished frames. And Kling 3 is starting to get more and more competent making visually appeasing scenes. So, what if I take all of these elements and use them to my advantage to try to make what looks to be a finished version of the Spitballs episode? So I got started on that, and I wasted way too many credits on like one or two scenes. Luckily, Nano Banana 2, if you have a Google account and use the FX app, you can have endless generations, and they don't have a weird watermark like if you use the Gemini app to generate that stuff. So you can generate as many images as you want using Nano Banana 2 on the FX app for Google, and it's incredible. So yeah, I've just been chipping away at it, and then I found out about Omni and the idea of just posting the elements like the frames you want to use and describe how each frame gets used, and then it creates, and then you can increase the video length between like 3 seconds to a whole 15 seconds, so you can maximize your credit usage without like having to constantly generate just one 5-second or 10-second scene. You could just generate a whole scene, and then more often than not when using the Omni model, it ends up working much better than using just the regular Kling 3.0 model. I wish I knew that when I started, but hey, better late than never to find out, right? Excuse me, I had some tacos tonight. But anyways, yeah, so I worked on that for quite a while, and I gotta be honest, I had a lot of fun. It's really enjoyable doing this. Now, where is this project like going to go anywhere other than just provide me and like showing it to loved ones some mild amusement and then moving on? Well, I don't know. I know that I know the Red Letter Media crew's probably not like all about the whole generative AI thing, because it threatens people's jobs, and I understand it's like something you don't want to promote or support. I'm not really using it for commercial use. I'm just using it to have fun and just as a little hobby on my off time. Now, if I was using it to make money, that's where I'd probably definitely not. I would definitely see why it's not okay, because I'm taking like potential jobs away from people that could have been like working on these projects. But if I'm just doing it with my own money and my own time, and I'm just doing it out of curiosity and want to explore and have fun and see the results of like my tinkering and messing around, then um, I don't know. I just think it's an enjoyable ride personally. But moving along, eventually my sister was ready, so we left to pick up some snacks at a nearby store. We got some soda, zero sugar soda. We got some pinwheel knockoffs that were the house brand that were much cheaper, half off than the pinwheels, which was cool. Um, we got some donuts. We got canned chili beans that were chipotle flavored, that were pretty good. And we also got, me and my sister got separate things. Like I ended up getting um, a bag of Cheetos, a small bag of Cheetos, Recess fusion with Oreos, which was surprisingly good. I wasn't expecting that to be good, but it was. And on top of that, I remember I also got a Slim Jim that was giga sized. It was, and it even had a cute like marketing on it that was like, "Oh yeah, I'll snap into a Slim Jim." So Randy Savage. So because he was like really popular with those Slim Jim commercials. So yeah, it was a pretty fun outing, I would say. When we got back, I suggested to my sister, "Hey, how about we watch that episode Spitballs I'm trying to work on?" She said, "Sure, let's do it." And but before then, my sister made me and her some chili dogs. She made me two. She made herself one. I was really grateful for that. Appreciate that. And also, on top of that, I ended up putting the sodas in the fridge and put some coconut water in the fridge that she bought. She asked me to, so I did. And tried out each and every snack we got. The pinwheels that were the house brand, and specifically they were the Walmart house brand, were very good actually. They were surprisingly good because I don't normally say that about Walmart products. Normally, with Walmart products, I think they're like don't hold a candle to the original. They clearly have cheaper ingredients and whatnot, but I don't know why these Walmart cookies were genuinely, in my opinion, might have been actually better than the original pinwheel cookies. And the reason for that mostly just comes down to the fact that these cookies were perfectly ratioed with the amount of marshmallow, cookie, and what else? And chocolate, which you don't normally see. Most of the time, it's pretty much with the pinwheels. It's like mostly just the marshmallow with a little sliver of the cookie and a thin layer of the chocolate coating. But with the great value one, it was perfectly ratioed with all the ingredients having equal screen time, which is a funny thing to say. But yeah, so those were really good. I really enjoyed those. Hot dogs my sister made, those were delicious. The chipotle chili beans we got were awesome. And on top of all that, I remember that we had what else do we have? We had that house brand of Dr. Pepper from Walmart called Mr. or Dr. Thunder, which is a close enough, approximation of Dr. Pepper. I mean, definitely isn't Dr. Pepper, but it's close enough, especially with the price being much lower. We had our food ready. We watched the Spitballs episode. We thought it was pretty funny. My sister kind of started getting serious into the lore of the aliens. Like, if the aliens travel, if it's a month for them but 70 years for the humans, Wait, so I guess they really do move, slow, and the humans move fast. So yeah, it was pretty fun. And after we watched that, I remember we once again split our own ways. I needed to use the restroom. As I was doing that, I was developing um, the episode further, the generated version of the episode, and then got texts about planning for a special day. So we, me and my peeps, we coordinated for this special day, and it worked out pretty well, I would say. Then I decided, if those who don't notice, look, I decided to donate some plasma again today. I answered the questionnaire. I immediately drove, and luckily I was one of the last ones there. So right in the nick of time. And I even had a nice conversation with a lot of the three other people that were behind me, who seemed pretty cool, pretty chill people. Really enjoyed their company at that place. Pretty awesome. Now, yeah, we just jumped through all kinds of different subjects, like greet each other and talked about why we're there and all that. It's pretty cool. But moving along, yeah. So I donated. Apparently, I was talking with one of cool peeps, and they told me that they were surprised at the news that was recently announced that one of the biggest companies in the world, called Oracle, has decided to lay off 50,000 employees, which is a shocking amount of employees. And the reason why is that apparently those employees are going to be replaced by artificial intelligence, which sucks. I mean, if these companies are going to be doing stuff like that, the least they can do is pay some taxes on the robots, like, taking away the labor of these workers who worked really hard to get in the positions they got to. So that way they can get, like, some kind of a, compensation for their inability to get work now because the AIs are doing it. So I don't know. I feel like that would only be fair, right? Considering they put a lot of time, energy, and effort into the company, But yeah, hopefully some kind of lawsuit or something comes of this, because it doesn't seem really fair to me. But yeah, I donated the plasma. I drove home. I was listening to the Wicked Broadway musical soundtrack just because I felt like it. It's pretty fun. When I got home, got into a whole conversation with my mom about, oh, you shouldn't be donating the plasma. I'm like, oh, well, it's a little additional income. Can't complain with that. And she was like, no, you should be doing things that are skill-based to get money. I'm like, well, if you have an opportunity, then I'd say seize it. And, at the end of the day, I'm an adult, so I feel like I can make my own decisions for myself. I understand. She cares about me, and she wants the best for me, and I get it. But, hey, it was my decision I ultimately came to, and well, yeah. Sad thing though, I did not make the full amount that I was supposed to. This was my 5th visit, and it was advertised to make me $30. However, when I looked at the amount that I earned, I only earned $19.90. And the reason why was because when I was giving money to someone through Venmo, I accidentally had my selection for payment was the wrong one. And because of that, it ultimately, well, it charged the card that was provided by the donor facility. And apparently there's a penalty for that. Now, you get a negative balance of 10 cents, but on top of that, they want maintenance fees covered, which apparently is $10 too. So even though it was an accidental purchase that I didn't mean, because I forgot to switch the methods of payment. Ultimately, I lost $10.10 because of that blunder. So hopefully that's going to be a little slap on the wrist reminder to not do that again. I would have had the full $30 amount if I didn't do that. And the worst part is you owe taxes on your earnings for plasma donations, which means that that I still owe taxes on that because of my blunder. I mean, yeah, it's a shame. But hey, on the bright side, the donation is helping people, and this is a lesson to not purchase things with a card that is only temporary, because as soon as I get what I get from the donations, I immediately transfer that back to my main account. So yeah. So yeah, lessons learned, and hopefully won't do that mistake again. No, definitely won't do that mistake again. Lost $10.10 because of it. Oh well. Okay, moving along. After that, my mom and my sister all sat around the TV. Luckily, our family friend did get dinner. She got tacos for everyone, which I was very grateful for. I had mine, my mom had hers, my sister had hers, she had hers, and yeah, she just gave them to us without asking to split the cost, which was very generous of her. Although, money is kind of hard to come by, and yeah, I think it would only be fair if we all pitched in. But hey, that was her gift to us, so I guess shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth. So thank you, appreciate it. But anywho, what happened after that was I told mom about the Oracle, layoffs. Then it got us thinking about what the potential futures of AI could be. We found this video from like AGI documenting AGI, where a guy was going through the different possible futures of what could happen with artificial intelligence and humans. Basic gist is that humans would essentially become like a beta predator, and AI would become, humans would become the beta and AI would become the alpha. AI would become the apex predator. And that could mean many things. It could mean we just become a human zoo where we just, do things that keep us occupied while the AI just, mines for resources and absorbs the planet. There's some good options where the AI doesn't decide to mess with us and ends up, being a team player, and we all work together. There's some futures where like there's segregated parts where there's like the exclusive AI part of the world, then there's the cyborg part of the world, then there's the humanist side of the world, then there's worlds of like benevolent dictator where the AI essentially like gives everyone everything they could ever want because there's no need to worry about any problem anymore because AI can figure everything out. So as you can see, there's just a lot of different directions that this can go, and a lot of them basically just end up with humans give up a lot just to have a super smart robot that can, essentially live our lives for us, which doesn't sound great to me. I think it should stick to being a tool and not take over people's lives, because when that happens, we're well, are we even humans anymore? Like, the whole point of being a human is to just overcome and our challenges and grow as individuals, right? But if we can't do that because the robots can do it for us, then what is even the point? Like, are we just gonna sit there and twiddle our thumbs until we die? It's weird. I'm not sure how it's gonna play out. It's gonna be interesting though. Yeah, the one thing is for sure, the next 100 years of humanity, assuming we do have 100 years based on all these doomsday reports, is going to be really interesting. After that, we all decided. Well, my sister got her cat. Me snuggled the cat, and I said goodnight to my mom and my sister, and then I decided to go in my room, and I just tried finding something to watch, basically, and ultimately didn't really find anything too engaging. I was just perusing, and I was like, I'm bored. So I decided to get ready for bed. I took my vitamins. I brushed my teeth. I what else did I do? Oh yeah, I flossed. I found out that if you floss, it decreases your chances of getting any serious gum infections by 90%. So I was like, okay, definitely doing that now. And yeah, it's pretty much it. And I decided to record this update video, and that's pretty much the scoop. Yeah. So overall, this day off, it was a day of experimentation. It was a day of donation. It was a day of learning some hard knocks and learning to not do certain things again, like the whole charging a car that doesn't have any balance on it and then getting a maintenance fee that eats up a lot of what you thought you were going to be making. It's about experimenting and having fun with new technologies and seeing what boundaries can be pushed, and just overall enjoyment of family and snacks too. And yeah, it's pretty much the day in a nutshell, I would say. I'll use something like that. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. I then decided to open this camera, put the microphone on, find a good, interesting angle, and then start recording. So yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote. Thank you so much for tuning in. I very much do appreciate your time. Means the world. I am now going to, well, when I'm done putting away this clothes, I'm gonna go to bed. So tomorrow I go to work from 3 to 11, which I'm very grateful for. Always grateful to have work. And yeah, I'm gonna make the most of tomorrow and every day until I die. So thanks so much, and have yourself a fantastic rest of your day. I will see you in the next video very soon. Good night, everybody, and take care. Goodbye.